Hello and welcome back to the KenOhwee channel, and welcome to a new segment that I just thought up recently. In this segment, we'll be talking about your favorite action figure reviewer, and if you think you know everything about that person, well, probably you don't, and that's why this segment was created. So, without further ado, welcome to my first guest, The Amazing. Thank you very much for being in this segment, The Amazing. What's up? Hello, welcome. Oh, he's here.
What's up, man?
The Amazing is here. Thank you so much.
Have fun with you, man. That's what we do.
Yeah, and I really appreciate and I'm grateful once again. I know I said it to you, and I know you're probably tired of hearing this, but I really appreciate you appearing in this segment, and I thank you for agreeing to have this conversation with me. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a problem. I follow the policy. Homies help homies.
Cool. So for those who don't know who's The Amazing and what you do, or would you like to just have a little brief introduction of yourself, of what The Amazing is?
I am The Amazing. I, for the last now decade, have been taking pictures of toys and putting them up online. Occasionally, you will see my work in studio stuff. So you may see my work with. I've done some Bandai work. Right now I'm doing a lot of Storm Collectibles and Mezco work. And you may or may not know my work because I work a lot of freelance stuff. But I do a lot of toy photography in the world.
Just out of curiosity, for my own curiosity as well, how did The Amazing's name came to be? How did you create the name The Amazing?
That is funny because it started because I love Spider-Man. And instead of The Amazing, if you put me there with the letter D of my first name, you get The Amazing. And then it just worked out that way. So I used it as a stupid pun, and here I am.
Right, and it just got carried forward, and it's funny how the names of channels are created. It's just the first thing in mind, and then that's the name of my channel. And here we are.
Yeah, I just did what worked, man. I just did what worked.
Was there any inspiration for you to start your channel?
Yeah, actually. So I was playing with toys, and back then, a lot of people may not know this because it's been a long 10 years and a lot has changed. No one was really reviewing imports or taking pictures of imports. Here in New York City and mostly in the United States, online, I was seeing mostly people just really mess with Marvel Legends. And I was doing stuff like Tiger and Bunny and Kamerada, and nobody was doing that kind of stuff. So I wanted to bring awareness to that. And that's why I started a channel, and I did mostly imports. So eventually it got to a point where it was popular enough for SH Figure Arts to carry Iron Man. And that's when I became more mainstream with a ton of people. That was 2011, 2012.
8 to 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Since you started this
that's
channel.
when I became popular.
Because
I was reviewing them before YouTube. I was reviewing them strictly on Instagram. And that was way even before Instagram was allowing Android phones to use Instagram.
Right.
It was strictly just iPhones back then. So even that has broadened my horizons with people because there are a lot more Android and non-iPhone users. You know what I mean?
Okay. So the start was SH Figure Arts Kamerada series. So that was
Kamerada, Tiger and Bunny. Yep.
We'll talk about more Kamerada stuff there, which I'm excited to talk to you about that. And just a little bit more about your channel. What's your methodology around your channel? How do you go about reviewing a figure?
Well, if I'm being honest, there's no real rhyme or reason to the review part. Yeah. I try to stick to a basic formula and I make sure it's kind of easy for people. Because everything else that I do is pretty much out there and weird and crazy. I stick to a basic formula of I give a brief introduction. I say what I like about the paint apps and the overall look of the figure. Sometimes I may give you a history into it. And then I jump into articulation, which is my favorite part. And then accessories. And then I do the size comparison, which I got notably, that's actually what I got famous for, size comparisons. In reality, everything else, like my shooting style, the way I shoot review-wise, it's all like the bare minimum. I shoot my reviews on my iPhone. I shoot photos on my camera. And that's because it's not about all the fancy equipment and stuff. I just want to be able to bring joy in the simplest way possible. So I try to extend it to what I do as well.
I noticed that you have your phrase, drink your water. Is there a story behind how that came to be as well? Or how did you come up with it?
Yeah. So a real short story to that was I like to tell people to be good. I've always done that in my life. Even when I say bye to people, I'm like, hey, be good. But it wasn't until, and this is hard for me to talk about sometimes, but it's still, My grandmother passed away. She was everything to me.
I'm very
She
sorry
always
to
told
hear
me
that.
that, yeah, this was a while ago now. This is a long time ago, but this definitely helped shape me. She always told me that if you knew better, you do better. And if you do better, you can actually be better. So I kind of reversed it by telling people if you can be good, that clearly means you can do good. The drink your water part is simply because it's kind of like a small reminder to people that there may be things that you forget during the day, small things. But I realized that in life, small things add up to bigger things. So if you can take that first step, drink a couple more glasses of water, try to remember things, be a little bit more nicer to people, the overall little steps add up to bigger things, which allow you to be a better person overall. Those little bitty pieces of you come together and make a bigger, better you.
Wow, that's powerful. It's good to have some message to carry, like a really good message to carry forward from someone you love, and then try to spread that good word to everyone else. And
I do my best.
so you've been an action figure reviewer for 8 to 10 years now. In your opinion, what's the best thing of being an action figure reviewer?
Well, that's the thing. I even till this day, I don't really consider myself a reviewer. I'm just a
Right.
guy who I play with toys like everybody else, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I do anything different than what anybody else does. I think where I stand out is in my photography. So I consider myself a more photographer than a reviewer. I'm probably a photograph guy doing reviews, you can say. And that's what I bring to the table is that intricate eye of actually playing with your toy. Like, if we're gonna call me a reviewer, which I don't like saying, it's because I actually sit down and I want to play with the toy. So let's say I even don't like a toy, right? Which is far and few in between because I've learned to appreciate things. But let's say I actually don't like a toy. I still do my best to try to bring out the best qualities of something because I'm trying to follow my policy of being good and doing good. If I don't like it, I don't like it. That's fine. But I'm at least going to try to be like, okay, I'm going to get the best out of this and this experience that I have with it. That's sometimes all you can do. Sometimes that's the best you can do of a shitty situation, you know?
So are you also encompassing having the best thing about being an action figure and also the worst thing? Because you're saying like you're trying whatever it is, even though it's bad, you're trying to make the best out of it.
I wouldn't even consider that the bad thing because there's a lot of other things that go into the popularity part that I don't like about being a reviewer to people. What I don't like about it is that there are a lot of people, and I try to make the best of the situation too.
Yeah.
I don't like that the more popular you become, people look at you less and less as a human being and more as a tool for their disposal. They stop worrying about how you feel.
Right.
They stop worrying about what it takes for you to get stuff done. If you are feeling down or low, you don't get a break because they demand their entertainment, which is outrageous in many cases. But you should be more understanding that as a person that under the level of pressure, you should give them a little chance to breathe. Sometimes people forget that.
Do you feel like you are constantly under the pressure? You know, is at times you'll be fine, but at times you just feel like, oh, this is now becoming work. You know, it's not so much fun doing this review anymore because, you know, it feels like I need to meet a deadline rather than me wanting to push this out there just because I like to share it with people. Has that ever come to?
It definitely gets like that sometimes where it's and that's not even company work. There are times when I'm just trying to do regular stuff and enjoy myself. And then in my inbox one day, so I get real anxiety with my inbox on Instagram because every day I try to get it lower so I can because I want people to understand that I'm one person. People think I'm like this big company of like 12 people answering my DMs. It's just me. Every day I wake up to 99 plus requests every day. And I try to get it down so that it doesn't say 99 because I'm trying to get to people, but that's not always the case. I can't always get to people. I've had to learn to take time for me because it was literally driving me nuts trying to answer everyone, even though there was stuff I answered in videos. There would be stuff I answered in so-and-so. And it's hard because you end up sometimes you end up answering the same question like 30 times a day. That part is very rough because I've had to learn to, I won't say ignore people, but work on my time. Because that's the other thing. People get mad that it's like, and it's not everyone, there are certain people, like every now and then you get one guy or one gal. Like, why can't you answer me? And it's like, it's not that I don't want to answer you. I answer you once, you feel like I'm always going to answer you. And then this 2-second answer turns into a 20-minute conversation. Right. Now imagine if that one person multiplied by 100 every day. I'm spending my entire day answering you. You know what I mean? Okay. That's not fair to me as a person. And that goes back to what I was saying is sometimes people don't treat you like a person. They treat you like an answer machine. And I don't always have the answers. But I do my best to try to balance all that stuff out.
Do you feel the need to answer each and every one of those requests?
I used to feel that way, but I also don't ignore people either. So it'll be one of those things that I tell people all the time, I'm going to get to you when I get to you now. Like, it's not going to be, all right, I used to sit down for like 3 hours a day and answer people.
Right.
But now it comes to a point, I can't do that anymore. You know what I mean? That starts to ruin other parts of my life. So now I tell people like, hey, if I get 20 minutes, I'll sit down and answer as many as I can in 20 minutes. I don't devote any more than 20 minutes out of the day anymore to that.
So yeah, so lesson is to the viewers out there watching this, we're all human beings as well. We need some space, everyone. Just let us breathe, and we'll give you the best entertainment possible.
Yeah, because it's like, you know, you make a 10-minute video, but they don't realize that it took you way longer than those 10 minutes to make that 10-minute video. So you're sitting here, you've given them 10 minutes of entertainment, and now you're also answering them, and then it boils down to, well, why couldn't you answer this? It's like all this work and effort I put in for nothing.
So I hope more people after watching this will understand this. We're not machines pushing out reviews. In order for creative output to flow, we need time to breathe, and then that's how the best ideas came to be. So hopefully you can get more space and more breathing room, and yeah, keep doing what you're doing, because what you're doing is already amazing. So keep doing what you're doing. And so just going back to like action figure topics. So is there like a best figure in your collection? Like say if I were to say what are the top 5 best action figures in your collection, and I know you have a massive collection. If it ever comes down to top 5, is there any?
Really like a top 5 or a top 10, because my love is based off of how I want to photograph it. Like,
right.
That's the thing about a lot of stuff. Like, I don't even keep my displays permanent. Like this, I know you can see it, but they can't see it. Behind me, like there's a bunch of dioramas and stuff in bins. There's a lot of stuff you don't see that I post. So I'll take the time out of the day to sit down and play with toys that you'll never see me photograph, because that's how I feel that day. So it literally changes day to day. Like today, right? Today is going to be Kamerada Gen. I'm having a blast with Kamerada Gen, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. And then tomorrow it could be, you know, Hellboy, because I had an idea for Hellboy. So that's why it's one of the reasons why I don't do that top 10 stuff. Because even though I do have overall favorites, I have so much stuff. I would never want to compile it down to this is how I feel about this permanently, because my feelings can change. That's kind of the joy. That's really the joy, is that today I could like this, tomorrow I could like something else. But each day is going to show my specific love for that. That's why I photograph it.
Since I know that action figure may be a bit too tough to try and pinpoint, because like you said, you know, it changes from day to day. Then is there like a favorite action figure line then? Like for example, maybe Shinkocho Seiho, or any particular figure line that that you like really like, and you look forward to whenever something gets released or announced, and you're like, oh, I really want to get that, you know? Like, is there a line that you like?
If you want to boil it down to that does make it a lot easier for me. That would be down to 3 lines for me. That's going to be SH Figuarts. The other is going to be Mezco. And I know I don't show it enough, but I actually play with them a ton. It's probably going to be Storm Collectibles. You know what? I'm going to add a 4th and 5th too, because I've actually been having a really good time with the Hasbro G.I. Joe stuff. Oh. Which has been a phenomenal line. And 5th is Mythic Legions. So if I can narrow it down to those 5 lines, I've really been enjoying those 5. For SH Figuarts, it's primarily Kamerada, but I just don't want to say Kamerada because there's also like the Medicom stuff.
Would you say Medicom toys would have the same place as SH Figuarts, because they're pretty much almost...
Well, no, because they both carry Kamerada, and when it comes to Kamerada toys, I am very biased. For SHF Kamerada, I'm a completionist. For Medicom stuff, I'm not a completionist, but I got a lot of love for that stuff.
What about the Mayfex line?
I like Mayfex a lot, but it doesn't... They're not in my top 5 right now, is because they took... While they make incredibly great toys, they're not very long lasting right now. And until I see a change in that, they're not going to hit my top 5, because there's certain Mafex toys, and I'm not Mayfex, sorry, it's Mafex. My Japanese guy corrected me on that, and I want to make sure I say that right.
Oh, really? So it's Mafex.
Yeah, like if you were saying it as a Japanese person, it'd be Mafexu. So Mafex.
Okay. There you go. I'm learning something new as well, and I didn't know.
I had to learn it too, because I was saying it wrong for so long. Yeah. I felt so embarrassed.
Okay, I'll keep that in my books as well. Thanks for that. So yeah,
but like there's a lot of stuff that they have that's great, but I go back and I try to play with it and it falls apart. Like it doesn't have longevity, which is a big deal for me. I shouldn't buy two of the Mafex, and the one I didn't even open is the same as the one I opened and played with a million times. You know what I mean? Yeah. The joints wear out, but I'm lately that's been changing, so I'm hoping it stays that way, where it's continuous change.
We have a special guest.
Yeah, hi Ginger. Hi,
Ginger. How old is Ginger?
Ginger's our oldest cat. She's also the smallest, which is crazy. She's old. She's what, 9 or 10?
Is that the only pet that you have?
No, I have 3 cats.
Oh, are they not allowed in the The Amazing Cave, or you know,
Oh, they're
or
allowed. They can have fun. They don't bother anything.
oh, they don't try and trip it over and try to scratch some Kamerada that looks like a dog or something, like get up.
They learned early on not to bother this stuff. Most of the time they sleep with it. Like, so they'll, like, if I leave the room door open, they'll come in, they'll get on the diorama set, and they just go to sleep because it's under one of my lights, like now.
Right.
So the lights will usually be on the desk, so they like the warmth of the lights.
Yeah.
So they'll sleep under the lights.
I'm always worried that if I have a pet or if I have a dog that they're gonna eat up all the accessories. It's like, no.
Well, dogs will, because they think that they're chew toys. But if you teach them from a young age, like I taught ours, you'll be fine.
I'll keep that in mind. So yeah, any action figure collectors out there who wants to have a pet and have an action figure collection, train your pets.
Yeah, just train them.
So yeah, we'll just take a short break and we'll come back and we'll talk more about Kamen Rider stuff. So stay tuned and don't go anywhere. Hello and welcome back. Thank you for staying tuned, and we'll move on to the next segment where we'll be talking about Kamen Rider stuff. So I've had difficulty finding like Kamen Rider fans in Australia. If any of you in Australia loves Kamen Rider, let me know. But yeah, it's kind of like a rare thing to find another person who's in love with Kamen Rider. So just out of curiosity, how were you introduced to Kamen Rider?
My older brother introduced me to Kamen Rider because we live in New York, and back in the day we would go to the Elizabeth Center in Chinatown, and he would get bootleg VHS tapes of Kamen Rider, and the first one he showed me was Kamen Rider V3, which didn't even have all the episodes. So to this day I still haven't seen technically all the episodes.
Of V3.
So then later on he ended up getting Kamen Rider Black and Black RX.
Right.
And then that was after I watched Masked Rider appear in Power Rangers, which isn't that bad. It was good for what it was, a kid's show. But it was just funny, you know? It was real funny.
Yeah,
it's cool though, you know?
Probably cool in a way that, you know, if you're drunk, for me, you watch it and you go, oh, okay, because if you follow Kamen Rider and you keep watching how cool they mention the word henshin, and all of a sudden you're listening to Actiface Activate with a Furby there, and it's like, all right.
But see, that's not fair to them because, you know, they have to work with what they worked with on the US stuff. I mean, you got to think, right? It's 1992. They were only working with Toei by getting the suit designs and the footage.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they had the access to the stunt designers, access to somebody who actually had the knowledge of stuff. They were basically taking something and just trying to Americanize it. I can't blame it for them then. Like, yeah, sure, now. But 1992 is like, nobody was ready for what was happening. Trust me, nobody.
I'm glad you can keep an optimistic mind about it. I think that there's very few.
Well, it's not that I'm optimistic. I just know the truth of, because again, I was around for that time.
Yeah.
And trust me, if you told me Henshin, I'd be like, what? You know?
Yeah.
That's something as an American, you know? It's different now that I'm an adult, and also the times have changed, so it is a lot easier now. People are watching whole subbed anime at the age of 7 in America, so think about that. You know, times are different now. Back then, we weren't well cultured.
Right.
You know?
Right.
We weren't real versed, and also it was the beginning of the internet. So again, it's not like before. We're like, the internet has made everything a big, huge melting pot. Before, everything was kind of segregated, and unless you actually went to another country and experienced things firsthand, you didn't even know this stuff existed.
True, yeah. So I assume you've watched almost like all the Kamen Rider series for starting from Heisei?
I've watched every series. I've finished everything but original Kamen Rider because there's still lost episodes.
Yeah.
I have not finished V3. I have not finished Sky Rider. And that's it. I've finished everything else.
So what would you say is your favorite Kamen Rider to date? Do you have like top 3, say start with Heisei Kamen Rider? Do you have like a top 3?
I have a top 5 Heisei. So it's going to be Kuga, obviously.
Yeah.
You get Build. You will get O's.
Okay.
You will get X8. Right now, the 5th one is interchangeable because I want to see how 01 ends.
So it's between 01 and who would, if let's say 01 doesn't make it, who would replace 01 in your list as number 5?
I love those, but they don't speak to me the way these others speak to me. It's not that it's any less love. It's just they don't speak to me the same way the others.
So what would then influence your decision to pick those? Is it because of their design? Is it their storyline? Is it who they
personal attachment, relatability? O's is dealing with being lost and found technically. Yeah. So it's like, how do you deal with the loss of something that was technically in your control, which is greed? Well, in the case of Ankh is greed, but with Edgy, I don't want to spoil things for people who haven't watched O's yet.
Yeah.
How he became the person he was is crazy. He came from a really rich father and still chose to be poor to see the world as it was. And he experienced a great loss. So he had no desire. So that speaks to me in a very relatable sense. Kuga is Kuga. I could go on for days about that. Build was amazing in the sense that it showed you no matter how smart you think you are, that doesn't mean you're always the smartest person in the room. Somebody's always going to be smarter than you. And you got to take lessons from that. XA was just pure fun for me.
I tried for X8. Maybe I'm always attracted by the first impression. So if the first impression kind of threw me off, it's like
well,
I don't know.
Kamerada's first impression is to sell toys, and the rest of it is going to be the story.
Yeah, it's all started like if we were comparing from Kuga, they just sell like that belt and a few figures, and then now here we are with multiple forms, multiple belts, and multiple figures. It's they're doing well in that toys department, selling toys. That's where they make all their money to create all these series.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It's a full circle thing. So, you sell the belts so you can make the money to make more shows, and vice versa. Sometimes it's a little too much greed, but that's another issue for another day. But for the most part,
that's a whole topic. Yeah.
Yeah, but for the most part, the original plan was to do that. We make these belts, we make these toys so that we make people happy, and we use that money to fund making more toys and shows for people.
Yeah, by all means, if that makes more Kamen Rider movies and more characters and let this line grow in the future, then by all means, sell more belts. Just
exactly. So it's one of those things where I'm not always happy about it, but for the most part, I'm generally happy.
Then, do you have say going back in time? Do you have a top
Showa?
Yeah. Do you have a top 5 favorite Showa riders?
I don't have a top 5 Showa because although there was a lot of Showa, their shows are kind of all interchangeable in a way. It was kind of like a ongoing legacy for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what people don't realize is that a lot of Showa stuff, it was tragic. It was very tragic, the Showa stuff. We're cyborgs. We're never going to be human again. I'm going to dedicate the rest of my life to literally fucking up a bunch of bad guys that ruined my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Showa is very tragic in a way that Heisei, it can't be that dark anymore. Kamerada Black was phenomenal. Probably one of the best Showa, but it's still technically considered the cusp of Showa Heisei. And if we're going back to older stuff, I really like Stronger because Stronger was just so goofy and he had this huge fake machismo, which was fun. Amazon was short-lived and brutal.
Oh yeah, I think that scared a lot of kids. I think probably.
Yeah, that's why it was canceled.
Yeah, it's a shame though. It's like, but finally we got the renewed version of Amazon. Did you mention?
I wasn't too much of a fan of that second season.
No?
It was not good.
So would that be in like one of your worst series? I mean, I'm gonna talk about this in the future, but later down the topic. But is there like?
I mean, it was no worst series. It was just it suffered from incoherent storytelling. It's one thing to change the story and add elements to it, but that didn't tie into anything whatsoever. It's kind of like he was telling 2 separate stories, but wanted them to intertwine, and it was not told well.
Did you happen to watch the movie?
Yeah, that ending was terrible too. It has excellent fights though.
The way they're willing to go dark and all that bloody scenes is fresh for me. It's like the Kamerada Amazons that they wanted to do in the future but couldn't, and now they're just going all out.
But see, that was the problem, right? So the guy who created Amazons is also the guy who ruined the second half of Hibiki. You know what? Sorry, I won't say he ruined Hibiki. I didn't like the direction that Hibiki went in. It was a lot of cool stuff going on, and it was just completely changed. And Hibiki managed to stay salvaged along the way, but I didn't like the direction overall. And he definitely applied that towards Amazons, where this first season was amazing. And the second season, I was like, I don't know how I feel. Till this day, I still don't know how I feel. And then there was a movie which kind of like, okay, I guess. But like I said, the action was amazing. But in terms of the story, I wasn't feeling it. And I don't care about it being, oh, it's different. There's no happy ending. I expected that from Amazon. But you didn't even end it on like a melancholy note. It was literally just, okay, I'm just going to set myself up for another sequel. It's like, what?
Just leave you hanging. It's just like, oh, okay.
Right. Exactly.
Well, see, I hope they make more of this. You know, they tried in the beginning with with Jay and Shin Kamen Rider as well.
Well, that was Ishinomori. Like that was classic Ishinomori, which is I want dark, but I also want it to be inspiring.
Yeah, I felt it was a classic, you know. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Ishinomori knew balance. He knew how to take something away, but also give you something in the end. You know.
Maybe Kamerada Amazon should take like 1 or 2 notes from those kind of shows, because those were dark, but at the same time it was entertaining and kept us in, and it was just nice. It was a nice balance all around. Like even the ending and everything is just a nice wrap up.
I just think that Toei and even that guy shouldn't be scared of having a beginning, middle, and end. Yes, you can still tie it into a sequel, but everybody has a story to tell. And if you want to begin and middle end it, sure. If you want to be ongoing, also sure. But give them something definitive, so that way if you cancel it or something never comes of it, you don't have this open-ended ending that just like, what the hell?
So, would you consider this as one of the top 3 disappointing series for you, or is there other series that you found that were more disappointing? Like,
see, that's my thing. I'm not necessarily always disappointed in Kamerada because their vision. This is complicated to say.
Yeah.
As a fan of something, you have to understand it's never going to always meet my perfect expectation. Why?
Sure.
Because I'm a fan. Mm-hmm. I don't know what they have planned, and because if I did know what they have planned, I probably wouldn't watch it. So that's part of the enjoyment. Mm-hmm. So whether I liked it or not doesn't really matter. It matters whether or not I got the point of it, which is why I was disappointed in Amazon. I'm not saying it wasn't good, because there's a lot of other things I can say that was good about Amazon. I was disappointed because overall the story didn't gravitate.
Okay.
It didn't pull me in. Even if it's a bad story, even if it was a bad story, I could go, I'm still interested. Because you know what? I kind of want to see where this goes. There's tons of terrible movies that people watch, and they watch it all the way through because they're like, I'm curious, where does this go?
Yeah, right.
Amazon, by the time Amazon's second season, I was like, okay. That was it. I was just, okay. I didn't care about where it went. That was the problem.
Any of the Heisei series that gave you that kind of feeling as well?
The second half of Hibiki. The ending of Kabuto and the writing in Ghost. Because having an Ultraman writer on Ghost was not the best move. So I just don't think he was ready for a bigger, broader story. Because he was doing certain things that kind of felt redundant.
Say, for example, if I ask you if you have a favorite Kamen Rider design, like would a story like or a series turn you off a Kamen Rider's design? Like, you know, it's like, oh man, now whenever I see that Kamen Rider, all I can think about is the storyline that they went through, and it just didn't work for me. Or can you know, split your mind and go, you know, I don't like the series so much, but man, that design was really cool, and I wish they could have explored that and do something that is in line with that theme or something.
See, here's the thing about Kamerada visually. It's never boring to me. Because that's one thing I can say that they sell pretty well is the gimmick. So I can never say like it's boring. I don't think I've ever been able to say that about a Kamerada design. Not even like a bad guy design. It's so unique and different, and it's because it's yearly and it's a constant change. I don't think I can ever say, I went, you know what? I really don't like this design. I don't think I've ever been able to say that. Even as I reviewed Jin, I loved everything about the Jin design, even though it's just a different version of Hirobi. But because it's pink, it's like, how often do you get that?
Decade.
I mean, besides that though.
Yeah, there's not a lot of pink. They're slowly reusing it a little bit more. You got Decade, you got X8, and now we have Jin. But it's scarce. It's not a lot.
But see, that's my thing. It's 2 of those are main writers, and like I said, like how many times do you get it outside of a main writer?
True,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, slowly but surely.
Decade was magenta. He even says it.
Yeah, I saw that little clip as well. It's like, oh, it's not pink, it's magenta. So all right, yeah. My bad. It's magenta.
No, I just love that joke. I just think it's great. But yeah, and then X8 was pink, but then you had a contrast with the purple. I like that they're branching off into different colors now. Like they're branching off into different mechanical design. Even with reused parts. It's one of those things where you still have to introduce something new. And it's done so well most of the time. I'm like, I'm with it. I'm totally fine with it.
Yeah, any color other than red, which is like their go-to main rider color, is interesting.
Well, they didn't have red for a very long time.
Would you say so? Like there will be some sort of splash of red in there somewhere.
No, I mean like a solid red. Like after Kuga, it was like there was no real solid red.
Ryuki was like solid.
No, I'm saying like I'm talking about a like red.
Ah, right.
Kuga was black, with mostly red because most of his upper torso was covered in red, so it shined over the black. Ryuki, it was gray. There was a dragon motif, but there was hints of gray to splash it in. Then Wizard again, black and red. It's always a color contrast thing.
Yeah, but I guess most where I'm going is most they commonly use red as a base color. Like that's the starting color. Yeah.
Because red is a strong color, it gravitates people.
Yeah, and then you always got like blue is always like one of them as well. Well, the secondary forms, and then lately we have gold and silver for the final forms, and that's a whole different topic. So yeah.
But again, I love that though. I love it.
Do you have a favorite then? Yeah. So final forms. Do you have a favorite? For me, I'm looking at Kuga Ultimate Form, and to me that was just badass overall. I look at any other final forms and I go, it's just not Kuga Ultimate Form. Do you have a
Kuga's Ultimate Form was amazing because he only did it once, and he literally punched the dude to death. It was awesome.
I know.
I wish the whole
we need more episodes of that. They tried it again, but it's just I guess the exclusivity of that. Oh, it's just beautiful.
Kuga was different on a bunch of different levels. That's why you can't compare him to other. Like he was the only solo writer.
It was great.
The only solo rider in all of Heisei. Like right after him, they chose 4 riders. They went with 4 right after that.
Yeah, and they just we need to sell more toys, more riders.
Nah, it didn't become about toys until Den-O, because Den-O toy sales was so crazy good that they didn't even know what to do with it. Because before that, they weren't really trying to sell toys. It was just, hey, we're gonna sell some toys.
Right.
But came Den-O, it was like, boy.
Let's keep this going. So then, do you have so you don't have a favorite ultimate form then?
No, I mean, I never thought about that, like a favorite ultimate form. Like the other problem is we don't have them all in figure form, so I'm a little like, ugh, why don't we have this? I'm more worried about that.
Is there one that hasn't come out yet that
we don't have a Renewal Kiva Emperor, we don't have Mugen, we don't have Genius, we don't have Putotera.
Putotera is definitely coming with all the, they released Tajado form, they released the other 2 forms.
We also don't have anything. First of all, they just stopped doing the Agito.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. They had the
Agito didn't sell well, so it's problematic now.
That's really sad.
I want a goddamn Renewal G3 and G3X.
Oh, really? That's the one you're going for?
Love G3X. You can get a G4 recolor out of that right there.
I wanted the burning form. I wish they really released that.
Burning would be dope, and then you can make it a part swap for Shining.
Oh.
Nah, because you can't do that because burning form is so buff.
Yeah, but they could remove the part. But then they won't do that because they know it's gonna sell well as separate figures. So
that's not true, because look at Den-O. They gave us gun and they gave us gun and sword form.
I'm shocked at that.
I'm not shocked by that because that's part of his gimmick. They keep it strong to the gimmick,
which is great. I haven't had a chance to had a look at Den-O. I actually managed to get one for myself, but I haven't delved into it, so I don't know how.
Which one?
The Den-O in gun form, Shinkocho Seiho one.
Open it.
That good, huh?
You'll see. It's good. It's fun. You might have. There's one small issue with like the whole leg part, but that's about cleaning the tabs. I think that was a QC issue.
Right.
But overall, I really enjoyed it. I'm excited. Hopefully, we get Rod and Axe form.
Ooh, that'll be pretty cool.
I know Wing is definitely going to be its own thing.
Definitely. There's an exclusive.
He technically has a different color suit, so you definitely need to do that.
Is there you've collected? Oh, is that which version is that? There's 2 versions, right? Did you get both of the versions?
This is the first Mighty. Yep, I absolutely got both.
Oh, so you've collected all? Have you missed any Kamen Rider figures? Do you have one missing in your collection?
Stuff that's not out yet.
Really? You've collected every other thing. Sakurajima, Shinkocho Seiho, you have that as well?
Yep, got it.
Man, what are the exclusive Kamerada figures then? So, Kuga Ultimate Form, the Rising Ultimate Form.
Yeah, I have that. The old one, yeah.
Both red and black eyes.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's Kuga, so I'm gonna get it.
So you've pretty much collected every single one of them.
At one point, I thought I was missing one, but I did get it, and that was a Toei Hero Net exclusive Garen broken helmet. I thought I missed out on that one, but I got it. Wow. I was just checking the other day for it. I was looking for it.
Did it cost you an arm and a leg to get that?
It was $100. At the time of it was released, it was $100 for me.
So do you have like a collection shelf of just purely Kamen Rider, of all the Kamen Riders that you collected? No? Oh man, that would have been so cool to have.
Again, because I rotate my displays. So stuff stays boxed, and then like now I have like this shelf where I take stuff down. So every month I rotate all my displays. Whether it's stuff in box or not, I will move things from down here, upstairs into the attic, bring stuff that I haven't had on display for a while from upstairs, downstairs, and I'll sit down and I'll play with it. Because it's bad enough I have to have them sit in boxes. And the reason why that is because I've tried putting stuff in details, and with Kamerada stuff, most of the time they have V-fins like Gundam.
Yeah.
I don't want any of that stuff to break. That's why I leave it boxed. Because once one falls, it's gonna collapse and bring down the other ones.
Right.
And then next thing you know, you have a bunch of broken parts.
Right.
So instead, I keep it boxed, and when it's not in use, it's boxed. And then I'll take it out and I'll play with it. Take the time to play with stuff. Like if I wasn't on doing this with you right now because it's my Saturday night, I'd either be playing video games with the wife or taking down stuff to sit down and play with. This is technically the me time for me sitting down and playing with stuff. That's usually why come Monday, Tuesday, there's a lot of reviews that go up because I've spent the weekend like doing a bunch of videos.
That sounds nice, man. I think that's one of the perks of being an action figure reviewer. You get to just play with toys, have fun with them.
I mean, yeah, that's what I tell people all the time. Like, I can stop reviewing tomorrow, never put up another video ever again. And if I didn't collect any new toys from here, I have plenty of stuff that I can play with. Like, I shouldn't be jealous of people who have toys that I don't, because honestly, I have plenty of toys. You know what I mean? So I think that us as collectors in general should just be happy. Like, yes, we do always want the new thing, and I'm not saying that's wrong. That's totally fine. But as collectors, I think that we should be able to go, nah, okay, I'm happy. But but for some reason, never really feeling that way.
It's good to just be satisfied and content with what you have. We always want that new stuff. It's an would you say that it is a form of addiction for us to want to keep collecting more and more? It's like it's never enough. It's just there's always that new thing that you want, and it will never stop.
You know what the problem is with that? I 100% agree with that, but I think the other problem is that as collectors, we technically hype each other up. It's like hunting, right, for treasure. Right. Think about the gold rush in America back in the early 20s. The 1820s, I should say. People like moved to the other side of the country looking for gold. Why? Because their friends were looking for gold, and he found one piece. Therefore, now you want to find one piece. It's the same thing for us. It's like a gold rush. Like, hey, I just got this brand new Kamerada. You're going to see me playing with it. You're going to see me post pictures of it. You're going to get your form of excitement like, all right, I need mines now. You know?
Yeah.
Being hype about it and being hype beast, like enjoying your stuff, like people seeing you enjoying it makes you want to have that feeling of enjoyment as well, too. And that's something that we have to learn. Like, sometimes we can't get that right away. That's kind of...
Yeah, I know. After hearing you have the Sakurajima version, I'm going to hunt one now. It's going to be so hard to... No, it's all good. It's all good. It's like I really wanted that, and I'm trying to find one, but they're just so rare now. So
the last time I saw one, he was like $200.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'll just.
Yeah. He was convention exclusive. That's the problem.
I'll take my time. So before, okay, I'll just as I'm swallowing that pain of the $200 exclusive. So you're all good, man. It's part of the journey. But as I'm swallowing that pill. Before we go into the final segment, you mentioned about Kamerada villains. Do you have a favorite Kamerada villain? Just curious.
Shadow Moon.
Oh.
Shadow Moon, Inzaguba Deva,
Black
Evolt.
Kuga.
Yes, Evolt was amazing because he definitely was one step ahead. He was probably one of the smartest villains we've ever got. There's a bunch of really good villains. Even like mid-bosses, right? You technically have characters like Dark Kabuto, Kick Hopper.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch, and for me, like the cat Similodon, like Similodon Dopant from Double.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's just great characters like that. Or Weather Dopant, who arguably was way more diabolical than the actual villain from Double.
It's been a while, so I'm not.
I know. I go back and I watch stuff every now and then. So
you do? Oh, okay.
I rewatch stuff.
I should start that so it keeps my memory fresh, because I know who you're talking about in terms but I don't remember Weather Dopant. Is that the guy with the white black design with that?
Yeah,
he looks like a weather god or something.
Yeah, and he would constantly torture the shit out of Excel.
Right. Okay. I think I got that one already. Well, so we're just gonna take a short break, and then the next segment we're gonna feature is the lightning round, and then we're just gonna close this out. So stay tuned, everyone, and thank you for watching. Welcome back, and welcome to the last segment that we have for this episode, and it's gonna be the lightning round. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be saying one word, and you just give me the first thought in your head. So it's just
okay. Let me turn it up so I can hear you.
All right, here we go. So your thoughts on, say, SH Figure Arts.
So good.
Mayfax.
Non-longevity.
1000 Toys.
Near perfection.
112 Collective.
So much fun.
Hot Toys.
I gotta get out.
Sentinel.
That's technically along with 1000 toys. So damn near perfect.
Marvel Legends.
Too damn many.
Power Rangers Lightning Collection.
Wish they had better paint.
Lastly, The Amazing.
I ain't shit.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having this conversation with me. And just for last words for all the people watching, any advice you'd like to share or do you want to give them, or anyone who wants to be an action figure reviewer or anything, do you have any advice for them?
Yes, I do. If you're really gonna do this, have fun. Make sure that it's always fun, and the second that it's not fun, you stop. Make sure you definitely stop and reevaluate it, because it should always be fun. And if everybody tells you different or whatever this is gonna be, is like, dude, we're putting up videos for free for other people to enjoy. If it's fun for you, you also have to be open to legitimate criticism. That means you can't go around getting mad that someone is actually trying to help you. But there's also people that's not going to try to help you. You need to discern between the two. And you need to do your best to balance fun with trying to always aim and be better, if that's the case. Because sometimes you just want to put stuff up to be goofy, and that's fine too. But most of all, be good. Be really good. Not only to others, but to yourself as well. Because being good to others don't mean jack squat unless you're good to yourself too.
And drink your water.
Yes. Please drink your water.
Well, thank you very much once again. I really appreciate this time that we had. It's been really fun. And for those who are interested in checking out The Amazing, I'll leave all the links in the description box down below. Once again, The Amazing, thank you so much. And hope we can have this again sometime in the future, and we can talk more about Kamerada stuff and new action figures. To everyone, thank you. And to everyone out there, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for your support, and we'll see you in the next episode. Take care. Bye everyone.
To watch more, click here. Click here for video 1. Click here for video 2. Click here to subscribe. Click it. Thank you for watching. Arigato. Thank you.